obviously Carter Gordon's been a big story that's came out this week. Probably keen to hear your thoughts on that. But also, you were an Aussie. There's the NRLs all around you. Did you ever have an opportunity to have a crack in or any opposed sessions that you jumped in on?
We had one opposed session, 2016, when I came back for the Bledisloe series. We played against the Roosters, but we'd just flown in, myself and Drew Mitchell. So we got sat out for that session. Thank God. That was brutal. Like, yeah, league, you got a lot of respect for them. Just the way they can run those block lines, their late
Mm.
change, the way they really manipulate inside, outside shoulders, even from ball player point of view. Looking at pitches, you can learn so much off their game. While I think the games are completely different. There's similarities as far as you tackle, you kick, and you run, you score tries. But the actual game and game plan and understanding, what you're trying to achieve, I think they're two totally different sports. As far as contracts, I think it was like 2005 maybe. The West Tigers reached out to my old man. They asked my dad, because my dad's background is rugby league. My family, we're
Mm.
leagueies. So to give you context, I was playing for Wallabies. And then at the same time, my brother's playing like maybe second grade rugby league local, and mum will always serve him first. That's how much they hold. They make sure that league in my family is a big sport. It's a sport I love to watch as well. But in
Yeah.
2005, West Tigers rang my dad, and he was acting like my agent when he wasn't. I think he's just trying to big note himself. And then asked them for what the deal was, and they offered something to him. I actually don't even remember. I don't think the offer definitely didn't get to me. But Dad just told me that they reached out, and he said, "Mate, they weren't even close." I said, "Well, how do you know?" So but that was as close as I went. It was just like one offer. Dad knocked him back, and that was it.
Yeah, right. And I suppose like when you guys had that rooster session, like what was the benefit of it? What did you guys pick up from that? I know you didn't train in it, but
I
what did you
think around
see?
those blocking lines, the blocker
Mm.
lines, ball playing. Obviously, theirs is more, especially once you control the ruck. It's just like counting off. So if you got three defenders, four attackers, then that's almost the picture that they're looking for. They're just looking for a mismatch, and they'll work to an edge where they feel they've got a strike.
Yeah.
Or you've also got centers that sit there, left and right centers. We have Willie Chambers when he came across to us in Suntory, and all he'd ever run was either that short line, or sometimes he's out the back, and he could just catch and pass little short ones, but could not
Yeah.
pass long because he'd never needed it in his game. So just trying to develop his skills there. He enjoyed the fact he could roam around. You're not just stuck to one side, like a left edge or right edge. So, obviously in rugby, it's a bit more, it's a bit different. You've got to be able to pass off both hands, defensively be able to go, off both sides. But rugby league's definitely more brutal. It's more of a contact collision sport. But yeah, that would be the biggest things that we would have learned, just around their lines, how they're trying to manipulate the way they jog, and then speed up the last couple of steps to really attract a player, accelerating onto the ball, or even your running line, changing your line, jogging, but then change late with a bit of acceleration and intent, made the players, buy it in a little more. So there were small things that we learnt off them. And off the other side, like I found with Quade was our 10 for that one, and a lot of the leagueies usually and the open wingers would jam in naturally and take second last. As soon as we worked that out, it didn't matter what play we ran. As long as there was a bit of motion outside Quade, you could just throw the ball over into that space and we'd be away. I think we would have scored maybe 4 tries just off that one, because they were set scenarios, So, yeah, I mean, it was good. A couple of our boys got absolutely whacked. They wouldn't line up to play again. But yeah, it was a good learning curve, and especially when you're not training, you can just watch and throw out a bit of shit. Hopefully that they smack the boys a little harder.
And the other thing too, like for some reason, like NRL and league feels like it's like go forward rugby, right? Like it's like fast breaks, and when you're making clean breaks, like it's always go forward. Defenders are often on islands and stuff. So that was my big learning when I've been in a couple of environments. It's just how quick the play is. So therefore,
Yeah.
your front door, back doors make a lot more sense.
Well, I think it's
So I mean, it's
also,
just
when you look at it, you play the ball, it's almost like a line out for us every time,
yeah,
which is like the biggest space that you'd ever get to attack off, from us,
yeah,
from an attacking point of view. Whereas theirs, it's almost like your dummy half. Every time you once you get up at marker, they're the guys that can then defend you. So you've got to you rush for time. So I think that's probably the biggest adjustment for a leaguey coming across is just getting used to that, getting used to the lines in your face a bit more, probably more numbers, and it's. Yeah, I mean, you grind it out for 5 phases. If you're going nowhere, then you will kick, almost like rugby, but a rugby league. But as soon as you get a quick ruck, it's almost
Mm.
like it's game on there. And I think that's where the leagueies really come into their own if they were to play rugby, is off that quick ruck speed.
Yeah, light it up, 100%. Um,